Much has been written and mentioned about your dad, who played at Penn State, correct?
Oh, he never played.
Oh, he didn't play, he just went there?
He went to Penn State, yeah. He'd actually never even played high school football. So, I was kind of the first football playing member of the family.
Okay. Well, let me say this, because I'm actually more curious about your mom.
Yeah.
And her influence on you. She's more interesting to me. Not an American-born, right? From North Wales, a dancer, encouraged you to travel.
She grew up in a coal mining village in Llai, which is a small town in North Wales near Wrexham. My grandfather had to worked in the coal mine, and then had to work a second job to afford dance lessons. And so he was a grinder. I think that's where, good or bad sometimes, as my mom will tell me, and I'm sure he would say, good or bad, that's where a lot of your drive comes from, of somebody.
From your grandfather.
From my grandfather, he's somebody that wanted to work as hard as he could, no matter what it take. Hours were irrelevant, to give the best for his family. And my mom, toured the world with a dance company. Actually, my parents met in Spain. My dad was in the Air Force, and my mom was touring the world with a dance company. And
had a lot of foreign exchange students stay in your house,
we've had
right?
them. My mom still teaches, I think, 60 to 70 hours of classical ballet every single week, at almost 70 years old. And, so she'll say that to me sometimes. She'll say, I don't know if it's good or bad that I gave you the trait of being an absolute workaholic, but I guess in the coaching profession, just like her, it certainly helps.
I talked to so many of your colleagues, college football coaches especially, who have laser-like focus, who are raised by maybe dads who were coaches or dads who were players, and don't have kind of this worldly view. You've talked about your life experiences outside of football. What would you say is your most significant experience outside of football that shaped who you are?
Boy, I don't know. I think growing up, I was exposed. My mom would always expose me to do so much. I'd go to school, and then I'd play travel soccer 3 days a week, flag football 3 days a week, took ballet, tap, and jazz classes. Then I'd piano lessons. Would take an art class at night in the winter for one time, and I'm a horrendous artist. I'm just absolutely terrible. But, would expose me to a lot of things. When I was 14, we had an exchange student stay with us after my freshman year in high school. I went to live with his family for a month in Spain, and just to stay with his family. And actually, on my journey over there, I flew out of Boston, had to connect in New York and then London, and had a full day layover in London. Just kind of swept my passport through, hung out in London at 14 years old for the day. And at 18, I went backpacking through Europe by myself, and not even planned. Went to visit my cousin for a graduation, and wanted to visit my friend in Spain again, and couldn't get a plane ticket. They told me I went. I said, well, what would a round-trip train ticket be? They're like, it would be like a 36 hours each way on the train. I said, that's fine. And the lady looked, and they said, it's actually $500 cheaper, or $200 cheaper, it probably was back then, to get a month Interrail pass to go anywhere in Europe than to just get this one round-trip ticket. My grandfather, I called, I told him, and he said, you live in the States, all the other grandkids live here, so, I never got to give you $1 a week or buy you candy bars on the weekends sometimes. So he said, I'm going to buy that ticket for you.
Oh, awesome.
And I went to my cousin, she handed me a backpack, and I looked at the lady, she said, well, what month do you want to go on this? I said, why don't you just start it tomorrow? She stamped the ticket, I grabbed a backpack, threw some clothes in a backpack, and headed out. I bought a book of just different train schedules, and cruised through Europe.
Great to be young, right?
Yeah, for
Great
3.5 weeks.
Young.
So those experiences to me, my college graduation present, which I never took advantage of, from my mom, was a one-way plane ticket to Australia and $100. And,
you didn't go?
I ended up getting a coaching job. So, I got a job that summer lifeguarding down the Jersey Shore.
That's not a bad gig either, as long as you're on the beach.
One of the ultimate, Sea Isle City Beach Patrol.
Yeah, I know.
Still may be the best job I've ever had.
I heard the Hasselhoff part and Baywatch was modeled after you. Now, you glanced over this, and I was going to ask you about it, so I got to come back and ask you. The ballet lessons.
Yeah.
Were you good at ballet?
No. But I know it.
Yeah.
And just growing up, I love the arts. I love the theater. I grew up, you know, when I was with my mom at their end of the year performances, would have the headset on backstage, you know, with the music communicating from her to everybody else, of wet lights and curtains and all the other stuff at different performances. So I kind of grew up a little bit with the theater, and I love that. I love.
Is there a video somewhere of you
me doing ballet?
Doing ballet.
I'm sure
we just
there
get it out
is.
right now because it's coming out if there is.
I'm
Ask
sure
Gus
there is.
Malzahn.
I'm sure my dad's got it on an old VHS.
All
you know,
right.
but my ballet stopped as sports started to pick up. You know, it was one of those deals. I think it stopped. I got cut from a Pop Warner football team, and so I think I was in 6th grade. And they just kind of, I mean, it was a big time team in the town, and they lined out like 200 kids tried out, and the top 40, they raced everybody, and just the top 40 kids made the team, and I wasn't very fast. And so I got into swimming, and I think I won the 10, 11, 12-year-old 200-meter freestyle state championship in swimming.
Wow.
So it was another, you know, another deal. And when I got into that, you know, I think in junior high playing basketball, a lot of those people influences that kind of started taking time away, and then it all went to sports. So if there is a video, it's going to be me probably before I was 10 years old.
Let the word go forth. Go to his dad and get that video.
I'm sure he's got
I want to see that video.
some old VHS tapes that are pretty funny.